Well, hello, America. This is the last audience that will join us, because tomorrow it's just you and me. And tomorrow is our last episode on the Fox News Channel. You don't want to miss it. I have a lot to share with you. Tonight it's big picture. When you're down to the last 2 episodes of something that you've worked in for 5 years, and you try to think, what is it I want to leave you with? What is the most important? I haven't been good at narrowing things down. Today, I thought I wanted to spend some time with you on 2 things, the most important things. What's coming our way, one last stab at it, and who do you trust? The media. Tonight I want to talk to you about those things. But I have to start over here with Israel, because you are being lied to. Absolutely, positively, you're being lied to. And you need to know what the truth is. Some analysts got together in Washington, D.C., and now they have come out with this. The 3 things that Washington feels might be the most pressing threats to America. See if you heard these anywhere. Nuclear-armed Iran? No. No, they just want peace. What are you talking about? This is from CBN.com. That's all they want. Nuclear-armed Iran dominating its neighbors. What? By the way, Iran just carried out tests of a ballistic missile capable of delivering a nuclear payload. Just days earlier, Iran said that missiles are capable of striking Israel or the U.S. targets in the Gulf. Worried about this? No. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, that's what I sat down for an hour with Benjamin Netanyahu to talk about. I said, nobody's taking him seriously. Nobody is. What are we doing about it now? Well, Obama wrote a love letter to Ahmadinejad when he first got into office that sought to unfreeze U.S.-Iranian relations. Oh. Yeah. The second thing that we're worried about is most pressing threat now in Washington. Egypt under control of the Muslim Brotherhood. What? No, the Muslim Brotherhood, they're great. This administration doesn't see the Muslim Brotherhood as even a religious organization, let alone a dangerous one. And 3, Al-Qaeda terrorists roaming free near Yemen's coast, where 40% of the world's oil supply passes through. I haven't heard that. Where'd you hear that? These are all crazy. An oil spike due to an unstable Middle East? What? Let me ask you, do we have a plan for oil flow interruption? What is our plan? What are we doing? The president did just agree to release 30 million barrels from our strategic oil reserve to help at the gas pump. But that's not just us. That's for the entire world. That's not your gas. That's for the rest of the world. We put up 30 million barrels. The rest of the world put up 30 million barrels. So we can relieve the tension around the entire globe. Look, this is not difficult to figure out. There's a lot of people in the Middle East that hate the Western way of life. Heck, there's a lot of people here in America that hate the Western way of life. They think that it is evil. At least in the Middle East, the people who hate it here, they don't believe in evil. The only answer to millions in the Middle East is reestablishing a caliphate. That's not a blanket statement. That's not everybody. There are good people in Iran that don't want a caliphate. But those with power do. These elitist dopes in the media can laugh all they want because they think a caliphate is, I don't know, some sort of fancy hors d'oeuvre. I've never had a caliphate before. Does it have fish eggs on it? Now I like it, huh? They don't get it. When they say, we're going to kill the little Satan and drive the little Satan into the sea and then go kill the great Satan, they mean it. You'd think we'd learn by now, but we haven't. I've shown you several videos on this program. This one I showed you just, I think, a couple of weeks ago. 1953, a group rose to reestablish a caliphate. 6 decades of challenging tyranny. Notice these are all the guys that we've been in bed with. Pretty much all the guys we've been in bed with. You notice that the regime in Iran wasn't there. Then oppression. They've been challenging that. This is all promoting, I love this one, exposing colonialism, all us and the Jews. This is promoting an upcoming Caliphate conference. Caliphate is spelled two different ways. Caliphate, as we usually spell it here on this program, and also Khalifa, but they mean the same thing. This is their vision for change. There's Khalifa. That means caliphate, a global Islamic Sharia law government. Now, this conference is in the UK. Hizb ut-Tahrir is organizing these conferences, like it said, in 44 countries around the globe. They had this in the UK. They had one, I think, in Australia. And the on-the-road Khalifa tour continues. They have just announced that the next one will be in the Netherlands this weekend, July 3rd. This is interesting. Does anybody know who Geert Wilders is? Anybody tell me who Geert Wilders is? Eric.
He is a leading Dutch politician.
I'm sorry, wait, we can bring his mic up? Go ahead.
He's a leading Dutch politician, takes a strong stand against radical Islam.
Got it. This guy's been speaking out for a long time. Do you know what just happened to him this week?
He was just cleared of hate speech charges in the Netherlands.
He was just cleared, of hate speech charges. Right. So now they announced this. It's not like there's any kind of problems going on that they might want to take advantage of. This is July 3rd, this weekend. You got questions about Islamic unity, the establishment of a caliphate, want the destruction of capitalism, the Western way of life? Well, then this is for you. But wait, there's more. They have a promo video explaining where we are, they believe, in history. They believe that we are on the verge of the next great Khalifa or caliphate from Allah. If you look and read the message in this, go ahead and play this message here. You see this message. It is narrated that the messenger of Allah has said, the prophet will be there. Then there will be a caliphate on the prophetic method. Then there will be biting rule for as long as Allah wills. Then there will be oppressive rule for as long as Allah wills. Then he'll remove it when he wills. This is the time they believe there is, because then there will be a caliphate on the prophetic method. They believe that they are at that time that Allah promised through the Prophet Muhammad. They believe that, and they are rallying the troops right now. It is an easy message to sell to people when the United States looks dazed, when Israel is under attack by the whole world. You pull the linchpin out of Israel and the entire West falls. You don't believe me? Well, hell, they didn't believe me when I said you pull out Egypt and it will set the entire Middle East on fire. Is that happening? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes is the answer. The Middle East is on fire. Now, would you like to believe the clowns in Washington and the clowns on television who told you that I was wrong that time? Or how about the time when I was talking about buying gold at $700 an ounce? It's now $1,500 an ounce. When? When will your neighbors decide to stop listening to the people who are steering them wrong every single time? There are people that want to kill you and your way of life. You destabilize the West and shut it down the minute you shut down Israel. They are trying to keep the fires of the Arab Spring raging, and it's easy to do because we look like we're staggering. And it's not to get democracy as the media elites grab their pipe and believe, yes, it's going to be democracy, it's freedom, yes. No, they want a caliphate, the end of the Western way of life, period. Not even a loving letter written by Obama's auto pen will change their minds. Not even a tersely written resolution from the UN. A caliphate, a government established by Islam that represents political unity of the Muslim nations around the globe. Washington doesn't care to understand what is coming. If you look, what worries Washington? What worries them? Jobs and stimulus packages, the debt and spending programs, oil and green programs, getting reelected, but that's low on their list. Middle East and Israel. I contend that they don't care about jobs. They care about the stimulus going to their friends. They don't care about the debt or they would have done something. They care about spending programs that help them get reelected. They hate oil because they've got spending programs that will go to their friends. Middle East? The Middle East is destabilizing the entire world. If they care about Israel, it's about getting them reelected. Period. That's what really worries Washington, getting reelected. So when are we going to stop listening to these clowns? When are we going to stop listening to them? Because I remember on this program, I told you about this. Radicals, Islamists, communists, and socialists. They are missing the boat. There are revolutionaries all around the world who see the giants of the world staggering. They see an opportunity for the first time in all of mankind's history to change the world. Not one country, not one area, the entire world overnight. Washington has other plans. Getting reelected. These guys have other plans. Changing the world for a caliphate or for communism. I have other plans. The last straw for me, now I shouldn't say this. The thing that cemented it for me. Does anybody know why I put this up on the board? I've said this before. Anybody know why I wrote this on the board to make sure it was in the studio every day? Anybody know why? I did this on Tiffany, do you remember? January 30th of this year? Right around there, I said Tunisia will fall, and it will cause Libya and Egypt and the entire Middle East to be set on fire. I said, this is our Archduke Ferdinand moment. Historians will look back 50 years and say, this was the beginning. Because I understood this. How did I understand this? I put this on here because everybody in America made fun of me. Every single pundit from the left and the right, everyone said, he's a laughingstock. He's a fearmonger. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And I said to my staff, put it on the board. I'll fall on my sword on this one. I want everybody in America to know who said this and when I said it. And I did it not for my glorification, because I could have been wrong. But because if I was right, maybe somebody would open up another door and say, what else was he right on? What else does he think might come? Because this was way out on a limb. All of these things are happening. Now, how did I know? Because behind this whole section of this set, which we're going to be, this is the last day we use it. The whole section of this set is actually called the timeline. I had this built for this show, and we haven't used it since this started happening in the Middle East. We covered it. But I had this made for history, because history plays such a huge role in my life, it should in your life, in being able to figure out what's happening. I'm not a news guy. I'm just like you. I'm a concerned parent that wants to figure out what is happening. What happened to our country? How did we get here? Where are we headed? The only way that can happen is if you know history. So how did I know what was coming? I know history. History is behind everything. If you know history, you can reasonably predict the future. By the way, tomorrow is my last program on Fox, and I beg you to stay in touch with me, because I am not doing a show like this anymore. I told you the first day on the air here this year, I'm done. I'm done. I'm tired of talking about the problems every night. So I'm going to find the people who watched the show and saw that and went, holy cow, wait a minute. So then what does that mean? What do we do? Go to glennbeck.com. Everything is there. Read it. It's important that you do it today, please. Now, this timeline I've been using, it is all of the stuff that has been happening over history. That's what it was. And we would go back to this to try to understand it. This is the reason why you can see ahead of the curve if you know history. History has all of the answers. Our problems have been so zoomed in. Anybody here watch the first show that I did here on Fox? Anybody see the first one? No? The first show that I did on Fox, I said, it was at the bottom of the hour. Tiffany, do you remember what it was? Tiffany, our executive producer.
Remind us.
She doesn't even pay attention. She's watching like the Flintstones or something right now. The first show I did at the bottom of the hour, I said the problem with the media is that they don't understand that the news is just one piece of the puzzle. They look at it separately, and they're so zoomed in on it. They look at it so closely and go, this is it, look at this shiny object, and then they throw it away, and then they say, look at this shiny object, and they throw that one away. Instead, they should put that down on the table and say, wait a minute. But if you look, this piece over here, and this piece from last week, and this one from the business section, and this one from the entertainment section, all fit. Look at what the puzzle is telling you. Here's what the puzzle is telling me. There is a force greater than the Axis power of World War II forming right now in Asia, in the Middle East, in Europe, and yes, here. That's crazy talk. Doesn't happen that way. Let me show you World War II, Asia, the Japanese. Well, the Japanese had nothing to do with the Germans. Exactly. And yet they fought together. For what purpose? To destroy the Western way of life. Mussolini hated Hitler, yet they fought together. The Middle East. This is the ambassador, I believe, to what was then called Persia, now called Iran. Is it Farsi? Farsi, the word Iran means Aryan. The Persia was changed to Iran after this meeting. In Europe, it was all Sieg Heil. Now, this might look familiar if you pay attention to what's happening today. Let me show you. That's not Germany. That's the Middle East. It's happening. Even though most likely you weren't taught this in school, back in the 1930s, it was happening here in America. They were sending kids off to Hitler camps in New Jersey. This is a Hitler camp in New Jersey, but wait, there's more. I'm going to show you this picture. Look for the clues on where this picture was taken. You'd think that this is Germany. Oh, wait a minute, American flag. Wait a minute, a New York police officer. Wait a minute, an advertisement up here. It looks like it's a meat product of some sort. It's an advertising. Where is it? Yes, bring the picture back. It is in America. It is in New York City. And the advertisement tells you that it's at Madison Square Garden. Yes, a Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden with thousands of Americans. You can't see it probably on television, but these are all people, all of them people with their arms in the Nazi salute. We have erased this from our history. We've erased it from our memory. But it happened. And once you know that it happened, you'll avoid that "it'll never happen in America" false sense of security, because you know it has happened before, it can happen again, and it is. Only this time around, they're smarter. They're not just having conferences. They're chipping away in our schools and our churches through overly pro-American sounding groups that are anything but. They're getting in bed with our politicians, helping them through bribery and everything else to go to sleep. They're on Facebook, Twitter. You may not know them because they've taken the things that you believe and twisted them. Yeah, you want to help the poor? Well, who doesn't agree with that? In fact, Islam and socialism, the Quranic concept of social justice. What? All you need is a structure in place. Oh, and you need one other thing: control. Easy to get control. I'll show you next how.